Police officers arrived at a gym on a noise complaint. The gym owner expressed his displeasure at the officer's presence. As they started to detain him, he went back inside his gym and told the officers they could not enter.
I'm about to get f***ing sued for harassment. This is private property. Okay, this is private property. You're about to get sued for harassment. You do not sit here in front of my motherfucking gym and cause disturbance. No, you. Don't with me. Why am I yelling? Because you're disturbing my motherfucking class. You guys are staring in here. What the are you doing rolling 4 deep?
You are causing the scene. If you give this officer your information...
You're not allowed in here.
We're not.
But they did enter, and they tased him and took him to the ground and arrested him. Here's the issue. The Fourth Amendment does not allow police to go inside your home and arrest you without a warrant. But what about your business? Did they need a warrant under the Fourth Amendment to arrest this gym owner? This video comes to us once again from Joliet, Illinois. My last video featured the Joliet Police Department in concert with U.S. Marshals invading the wrong home and detaining innocent and terrified people. This video, however, features the Joliet PD invading, detaining, and tasing an innocent, though not terrified, gym owner. The gym is called Undisputed Strength Company. The owner is Brandon Kelly. According to a media report that I found, this took place back in September, and it was around 5 in the morning. Apparently, a local neighbor called the cops complaining about noise. Multiple police officers arrived. Eventually, the owner, Mr. Kelly, stepped outside and spoke with the cops. He expressed his displeasure at their presence. The cops then began the retaliation process. They appeared to be setting up an obstruction type arrest, even though they knew who this man was, that he was the owner of the gym who was asking them to leave. They're going to detain him because they just have to have that ID. But what they really want is for him to refuse to ID so that they can arrest him, which ends up happening. They're either going to force him into submission by forcing an ID out of him, or they're going to get to go even further and maybe even tase him. But he goes back inside his business before they can physically grab him. So the owner is inside his business. The cops are outside. He tells them that they cannot come in.
I'm trying to talk to you.
What's going on?
Yeah, we got a ongoing issue. I mean, we don't got a complaint, but it's an ongoing issue. I just want to talk to him. He just rushing me out. He's like, get the fuck out of here, I ain't giving you shit. I'm like, you're not gonna turn me? He's like, no, I'm not gonna do that shit.
Do they usually open at this time?
I mean, it's a gym, I get it, but like, it's like, you know?
So I even wonder whether there actually was a noise complaint, because this officer here says that we don't even have a complaint, but it's an ongoing problem. So it may be the case that the cops are just harassing this gym.
Not going to issue with the guy. I literally walked in. I know it's a business in the gym or whatever. Because, like, you know, me out. I'm about to get f***ing sued for harassment. This is private property. Okay, but this is private property. You're about to get sued for harassment. You do not sit here in front of my motherfucking gym and cause disturbance. No, you. Don't with me. Don't fuck with me today. No, yeah, you are. Yes, you are. You guys are sitting here staring at my shit. These guys don't pay $50 a month gym. I don't give a I think she's a she is. I don't give a. You don't need to tell me what the to do. No, you don't. What the are you gonna do to me? You ain't gonna do shit. That person is known for have a mental disability. It is in court documented. That's right. So you go. It's no, I already did. I already hired a you are. Why am I yelling? Because you're disturbing my motherfucking class. You guys are staring in here. What the are you doing rolling 4 deep? You're about to get sued for... Shut the up. All I was asking for your ID. That's you ain't getting shit. You're about to get sued for harassment. You're gonna... You don't gotta do shit. You're on private property. I don't gotta do shit. I already went through this for 5 years. You're disrupting my motherfucking... You are disrupting it. You are causing the scene.
If you give this officer your information,
You're not allowed in here.
we're not.
You're not the allowed in here.
At this point, the officers chase Mr. Kelly inside and they engage in a violent use of force against him and they put him in handcuffs. As usual, I will put the raw use of force clip in full on the blog post linked below. According to YouTube guidelines, as you know, I can't show it or else they will restrict this video. And it's sort of besides the point about what we're talking about, but I urge you to watch it because they do get pretty violent with the guy.
You see what he was doing? Are you serious?
Back up.
There was 4 fighters.
Oh, you on your butt, right? And he was hitting us in the
But do
face
you
too.
think you need to tase him?
Yeah, he got tased. It's over with. Enough.
Okay.
I'm gonna roll you on your butt. Come on.
Get up.
All right.
Walk out this way.
My spot is weird.
What he wants, man.
Okay, he can walk barefoot. You know, help him
Is he giving any info or no?
Not yet. He wants his teeth.
They don't want to help, so. Alright. Yeah, I would.
All of our names are
Perry.
He's the guy that pays them.
I do.
Does he have ID?
Or wallet.
He was hitting him in the face. He was punching him and stuff. He ain't got hit in the mouth.
He started punching his face, right?
Yeah.
What was he hitting me with? His face?
Everyone's still on. I turn back on. So if you guys here, what else do we need here? Anything from these people?
No, I didn't make contact.
They're not getting their. That's why I get his ID.
Is the boss coming? He resisted and he got injured. He's gonna be coming.
They don't want to do nothing with none of that. So.
I'll talk to him. I didn't even get to ask him. He didn't tell me shit. I asked him who was boss. He's like, I don't know anything.
Do you have any of his 43 yet?
He told me his name was Brandon Kelly.
There's previous on him.
Yeah. So go ahead and take him down. Alright.
I'll have to do one of the blue team. Blue team,
Yeah,
yeah.
probably who tased?
I did.
We tased, okay. So stand scene. Go sergeant, so. You can go down. Somebody go down with him. Look.
Right.
He punched you?
I don't even know what happened. I didn't even know. My lip bleeding a little bit, but I don't even know what he hit me with.
And here's where they all get together afterwards and get all of their stories straight.
So I mean, we went in for the obstructing ID.
Yeah.
He tensed up, egg assault,
Yeah.
right? And then resisted us.
Yeah.
He got hit in the face.
I don't know, did you see?
Obviously, your lip little cut right? So it might be it.
He probably punched me.
Probably.
It could be ag resisting since you
I
got
just saw it. He wasn't going down, and it was too much of a struggle, so I was he was fighting.
That's strong dude, too.
I was gonna say, I ain't about to just be in there.
No, no.
That's why I was like,
That's strong.
Alright, take him down. What's up? Sit down on it. You want to follow him down? I'll follow him.
According to the media report, which I'll link in the blog post linked below, Mr. Kelly, the owner, was charged with 2 counts of resisting a peace officer. Those charges are apparently still pending. He's hired a criminal defense lawyer who appears to be aggressively defending the charges, according to the media report. So, cops show up to enforce a noise complaint, which according to the defense lawyer only brings a fine and is not a crime. Then they enter his business, they use force, and they make a warrantless arrest. He was the owner of the business. Did the cops need a warrant to go inside and arrest him? Is a business treated like a home? Absent exigent circumstances or consent, warrantless arrests within a home are per se unreasonable seizures prohibited by the Fourth Amendment, even if there's probable cause for the arrest. That's Payton versus New York, 1980, U.S. Supreme Court. So that means that these arrests are illegal by default and that the government has to prove otherwise. The issue here is whether warrantless arrests at a place of business are equally restricted by the Fourth Amendment. Does the Fourth Amendment protect businesses in addition to homes? The Supreme Court has applied Fourth Amendment protections to a person's business, as well as his home, and that's because the Fourth Amendment protects people, not places. However, the case establishing that, which is called GM Leasing Corp. Versus U.S., pertained only to the seizure of property, not persons inside a business, like we have here. The U.S. Supreme Court has held that the arrest of a suspect when he is a customer in a public restaurant at midday does not involve the privacy issues raised by warrantless arrests in a home. That was U.S. versus Watson, 1976. But what about a business owner who possesses the legal right to control who is allowed inside his business? And even then, what if the business is open and has customers inside, as opposed to a private restricted area inside a business? Several courts around the country have evaluated whether a place of business gives rise to such privacy rights so as to stop the police from making warrantless arrests inside, and have concluded that no reasonable expectation of privacy existed. These cases did not, however, find that there was no privacy right because the premise was a business rather than a home, but instead they carefully examined whether the particular circumstances warranted a privacy right. When the Supreme Court held in the Payton case that warrantless arrests in the home were prohibited, the court distinguished the Watson case that I just discussed, which was the customer arrested in the restaurant at midday, as involving an arrest in a public place, for which the old common law rule permitted such warrantless arrests very clearly. So the distinction between the Payton case and the Watson case is not that the former involves a home and the latter a business, but rather that the former involves a place of private retreat and the latter involves a place of public accessibility. So here, did Mr. Kelly have a reasonable expectation of privacy inside his gym prior to the officers entering? The gym appeared to be open to the public at the time, although it was 5 a.m. There were customers inside using the gym. Additionally, there were windows that the officers could see through to see inside the gym. On the other hand, Mr. Kelly was the owner of the gym, and he did possess the right to control access to who enters that gym and who is not allowed to enter the gym, including police officers. So otherwise, he did have the ability to tell police officers that they could not come inside. But then again, the police could argue that the arrest was initially set in motion in a public place, and then Mr. Kelly went inside, and they just followed in pursuit. So you can probably see where I'm going with this. This is actually a very complicated legal issue, and I'm surprised that I cannot find a whole lot out there on this. I mean, the cases are pretty few and far between, and where we have situations like that, it's going to be very fact dependent on what are the facts of this particular case. What's going to happen? Even if a court were to conclude that Mr. Kelly's civil rights were violated, i.e. his Fourth Amendment rights were violated here, what are they going to do with the police? They're going to give them qualified immunity, because if a civil rights lawyer is having difficulty finding applicable, clearly established case law, they're definitely going to give the cops qualified immunity. So if I had to predict what would happen here, do I think it's a Fourth Amendment violation? Yes. Do I think the cops would get qualified immunity in a civil lawsuit? Yeah, probably. But we also have the old issue of he has to beat his criminal charges. So the criminal charges are still pending. If he loses that, then the federal courts are going to defer to whatever the final judgment was in the state court. This is called the Heck v. Humphreys doctrine. So you have to beat the criminal case. So he has that additional issue here as well. One thing you can do is spread the footage of these cops acting in this way, because it was a complete non-issue. They didn't need to be harassing this guy in the first place. If he's violating a noise ordinance, fine him. That's what the law provided for. So, as always, thanks for watching. If you like going over these sorts of complicated scenarios and discussing the constitutional law, please subscribe, both here and at the blog at thecivilrightslawyer.com. My freedom does not end where your fear begins. Freedom is scary. Deal with it.